has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. You got to get the SportsGrid app. It's on iOS and Android. It's free. You can watch the network on the app. You can listen to the network on the app. It's got the TV side, the radio side. Follow your favorite hosts like Carver High. You can get in-game odds, stories, videos, highlights, everything on the SportsGrid app. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. You can watch us on X, streaming every day, 7 days a week. You can watch right now on X at SportsGrid-Live. Get the Ferrall Coast to Coast and Ferrall on the Bench podcasts on Apple iTunes every day, Monday through Friday. Let's look at the lineup for tonight. At 6, after this very show, you've got GTD, Game Time Decisions with the Mayor of Miami, our friend Joe Ranieri tonight for an hour from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern. And then at 7 till midnight, continuing coverage, the best in the business from SportsGrid of the NFL Draft Rounds 2 and 3 with Ben Stevens, the Kevin Walsh, Adam Kaplan, our NFL insider, and my man Mike Blewett, all tonight, 7 to midnight on SportsGrid TV. That'll be on SportsGrid Radio as well all night long. Check us out. We're better. We are. We're better than everyone else. And we're starting to know it, which is also very interesting. It's a fun moment in time. All right, let's get into the games. We're talking about everything. Saturday's action is thick.
Saturday's action is thick. Of course, there'll be 4 games in the NBA on Saturday. We'll start with the early one. This will be a 1 o'clock East tip down in South Beach for the Cavs and the Heat. One note on the Cavs, I will tell you. Evan Mobley won that Defensive Player of the Year.
Thank God.
Award. I know that. I was stunned because everybody,
so happy.
The odds boards, everybody said, "Oh, Draymond's gonna win." Guess not. Good for Evan Mobley, who wouldn't have won if Wembanyama didn't get hurt. Let's remember that. He only won because Wembanyama couldn't win because he didn't play the right amount of games.
I think he still should have won, Wembanyama.
If the dopey rule wasn't there, like before 2 years ago, Wembanyama would have won anyway. Even though he missed the last 2 months of the season. He probably would have won the award either way. But hopefully he plays 70-plus games next year. Did you see him playing
soccer in Costa Rica with the kids?
I did not see that. I did not see him play.
He's pretty good.
A sight, with Wembanyama playing soccer out there. As far as tomorrow afternoon, Cavs are 6.5-point favorites on the road in Miami. The total's 213.5. You know, for me, it's kind of like what you said with Orlando, isn't it? Like, if they're going to get a game in this series, isn't it going to be this one?
Yeah, I think it – well, first of all, they don't like playing on the road. They don't like playing at 1 o'clock on the road. Yeah. And so I think the Heat have to be ready to take advantage of that. I don't think the Cavs are in a comfortable spot. They're at the Kaseya in Miami. I think it's the Heat's shot here. Not only do I like him with the 6, I like him outright. They're going to win the game.
Now, there's one advantage to that if you're the Cav players, though. If you're playing at 1 o'clock in Miami, you know, you're done by like 5 o'clock with all your obligations. You got the rest of the night in Miami with nowhere to be and nothing to do, and you're off on Sunday. You don't play again until Monday night.
I mean, it is party time. Where the F are you? 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 Party time.
Not the worst place to have the 1 o'clock road game on a Saturday afternoon. If there's any place you want it, it's probably in Miami.
Why do they always send the poor? Why do they always send the poor?
Game 2 on Saturday will be at 3:30 East in Memphis, where the Thunder will put the finishing touches on the Grizzlies. You just said before, no John Morant. That's been made official. And what does that mean? Some heavy lumber here. 15.5 for the Thunder. 221.5 the total.
I still like the 15.5 with the Thunder to cover. Desperate times, desperate measures. I think they'll go, all hands on deck and cover. I think the Thunder win this game by no more than 3 or 4 at best if they do it all. They should finish them off, but I'll take that 15.5 chunk. I just hit with 9.5. You're going to give me even more? Okay.
The third game of the quadruple header will be in Los Angeles, back at the Intuit, where the Nuggets and Clippers will play game 4. So quick turnaround for them. Clippers minus 6.5. 212.5 will be the total.
I'm still on the Clippers. I think the whole trip to Lipstick City for the Nuggets will be an abortion. They'll be down 3-1 going back to the Ball Arena. I think the Clippers whack them again, this time by, same thing. 117-83 is not happening. I think this is more like 10-12 for me, but I still think the Clippers get it done. The Clippers right now are the better team. They have been in all 3 games, and I think the Malone firing and all the nonsense is catching up to them. I really do. And the Clippers don't have those problems. Ty Lue, everyone's healthy, everything's intact, and everyone's producing. That's a perfect cocktail for success. I think the Clippers keep moving. They're going to win the series and move on.
I'll tell you one thing that you saw last night that you usually don't see. Joker's usually as cool as it comes. Like, it doesn't even matter the situation. You usually don't get much. He was going off on that bench. Joker was going nuts during one of those timeouts. You never see that.
I'll tell you what else.
He never.
How about when do you see him have a triple-double and lose?
Yeah. No, it was. He had a triple-double. They lost by 20. It was a complete
20.
Complete. You got completely worked.
They lost by 30 plus.
They lost by 30 plus. Let's go next to the final game of the night, and we do have a little something for you before that. First of all, Jimmy Butler, a deep glute muscle contusion.
Ouch.
Deep glute muscle contusion. His status for Game 3 is in jeopardy, of course,
I don't think he's playing.
It doesn't sound like he is. He has no structural damage or fractures, but at least for Game 3, it could be a problem. Here's Steph Curry, clearly not a superhero fan.
He said if Jimmy can't play, you'll have to carry a lot of the lift. And he sort of memorably called himself Robin to your Batman. If he can't play, does Batman have to find another Robin, or is it multiple Robins, or how do you view that?
I love we're trying to stretch the nickname. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the
doesn't know Batman?
comic world.
Who doesn't know Batman?
Come on.
To have any other references other than we just got to find a way to win.
He's lying.
And it's been by committee, maybe not scoring wise, but in terms of the pieces fitting and connecting the game offensively.
Probably even knows
defensively. So
Bateman.
whoever's out there still have the confidence that we can win.
Listen, here's what's going to happen. Jimmy's not going to play, but I think all of their bigs, Moody, Looney, Post, are going to be heavily involved in this game on the boards and on lob dunks and on, loose balls and everything else. I think those guys all step up in a huge way. Curry and Green put on a show. I like the Dubs here rolling at the Chase. They don't lose at home. I think they're going to roll the Rockets on Saturday afternoon out there. Saturday night, 8:30, 5:30 San Francisco time in this city.
Yeah, it's only 2.5. Only 2.5 for the Warriors tomorrow night.
I love that.
With the 203.5.
That's easy work.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Vegas knows how to celebrate. If you're headed to Vegas for your birthday, plan ahead to get all the birthday freebies the city has to offer. Just by showing your ID, you could get free cash play, scratch cards, drinks, and food at various venues on the Strip. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Okay, what tools can you use to measure those things a bit? And that's where you have like force plates and 3D motion and launch monitors, things like that. But that's all just sort of like measuring what's happening. That doesn't necessarily explain why one guy's really good and another guy's not really good. And that's where there's still kind of like this ongoing, how do you like continue to do research to understand that better? And I think that's going to last well past my lifetime.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
I'm still optimistic eventually this will happen and they'll get it together. I mean, if Florida can get their act together, Sam, with the tribes, I believe that California can too.
It would bring a lot of money to the tribes, which is also something they really care about. It's an $8 billion market. Conservatively, it could be even more when it legalizes. The sports books would be sharing revenue with the tribes, essentially doing all their operations and forking over a percentage directly to the tribes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
King of the featherweight division for the BKFC, that is King Kai Stewart, who is joining us now, still the champion of the featherweights.
Though he did get dominated, he was still throwing big shots. He landed a lot bigger shots on Palomino than he did me, and I wasn't really impressed. Palomino's getting older. He is definitely a former GOAT. He has done amazing things in this sport, but it's just my time.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, so Sunday there's 4 games, but 3 of them play tonight, so we don't know those spreads, but we do know the Knicks-Pistons game at Little Sleezer's in the Motor City. We have a number for that one.
We do, and it's actually also going to be the first game of the day on Sunday. It's the 1 o'clock East tip in Detroit. Pistons minus 1.5, so the Knicks were minus 1.5 last night. Pistons will be minus 1.5 on Sunday, 216.5 the total.
I mean, this is driving me crazy, the betting on this series. I just, I got to be honest, I have the sneaking suspicion again that the Pistons are going to even this up and send it back to the Garden in New York for a Game 5 2-2. So I'm going to lay the 1.5.
I am too. I think the Pistons win Sunday. And then I think the Knicks win the next 2 and win it in 6. I think that's kind of where I'm feeling this.
I'm good with that.
Right I really think that's how it's going to go. I think the Pistons have shown they're not backing down in this thing, and they're going to be alive. And I think we're going to get at least 6 games out of the 2 of them. So there you go. And then the rest of that schedule on Sunday, by the way, Lakers T-Wolves will be 3:30 East, Game 4. Celtics Magic 7 o'clock East in Orlando, and the later game is 9:30 East, Pacers Bucks in Milwaukee. That's the last game of the day at 9:30 Sunday night. So get everybody to bed.
I think that's 8:30 brew time.
Right, 8:30 brew time. Indeed it is. So there you go. A couple quadruple headers over the weekend in the NBA. Let's do the baseball now before we get to the Stanley Cup and the rest of our draft stuff. Ball. Everybody does dig the long ball. A few things from last night. Orioles beat the Nats 2-1. Another great pitched game by Mackenzie Gore, even though they lost. Angels beat the Pirates 4-3. Who was the kid on the Pirates? I know they lost. What, the kid hit a homer in his first at bat last night? One of these kids on the Pirates?
I just know I bet on Anderson and the Angels last night, and they got it done for me. That's all. I was sleeping.
You were sleeping when the Pirates. I had a little bit up. I was hoping for Matt Gorski.
Yeah. With his wife in the crowd. I did see that.
Gorski went yard for them.
The Rays beat hot, actually. Are we on the air?
In 10 innings. And how about the A's taking the series from the Rangers in Sacramento in walk-off style. Your boy Jacob Wilson doing the honors on NBC Sports California.
3-1. Line drive to center field. It's a base hit. Streaking around third is Urias. The throw to the plate is late. It's late. The A's win the series. Jacob Wilson walks off the Rangers again. It's a 4-3 winner. The A's have arrived in West Sacramento.
Oh, in West Sacramento. I've never heard of such a thing. I've been to Sacramento.
Didn't know that.
I just wanted you to know that.
I didn't know Sacramento had a west side. There's a west side.
I've been there.
Sacramento.
I did a show there on KHTK 1140 Sports Talk. Good station.
The Giants did end up taking 3 out of 4 from the Brewers. They won that game 6-5 yesterday after we got off the air. How about Lindor on that Met homestand as they head down to D.C. for the weekend? 14 for 40. That's 467. 4 homers, 8 RBIs, 8 runs scored. One of those homers was a walk-off homer as well. Your boy, Frankie Lindor.
Maybe they gave all the money to the wrong guy. Maybe Lindor's the best player on the team, not Soto.
He certainly has been, not only this year, but you could say in September and October last year too, right? I mean, Lindor was awesome for the Mets in their run to the NLCS. We always like to try to, whenever we see a new food, ballpark food, we have to at some point get involved with it.
We do.
And once again, we do have that. Can you please? This is at Astro games now, and that is the chicken and waffle. Look at this thing that we have here. You can get this at the Astros. This is outstanding. Look at this. The fried chicken sandwich. It's got the pepper jack cheese, the bacon onion jam, the honey chipotle aioli. I mean, look at this thing. I mean, that is just incredible.
Honestly, now listen, just so I just want to be clear. When is the last time that you went to breakfast with me that I didn't have a waffle? Like, I love waffles.
You like waffles.
So any kind of waffle meal, even with chicken in the middle of it and a bunch of jalapenos, because I got the big kahuna the other day, and the guy looked at me and I said, I want a lot of onions and a lot of jalapenos. I said, you got some jalapenos back there? The guy goes, I got them. I go, pour them on. So, like, waffle chicken sandwich with jalapenos and everything else you're talking about there, that cheese they got on there. I mean, that may be one of the finest ballpark things I've ever seen in terms of eating. I hate Houston. I hate all their teams, but I may need to slip down there and have one of those. Waffle chicken sandwich. Are you kidding me?
Waffle chicken sandwich down there in H-Town for them. We're going to get to tonight's games now. Now, I thought this game would have started already, but it hasn't. In fact, it's going to start in about 10 minutes because they've had a long rain delay in Chicago. But the Phillies and the Cubs are going to get going here soon. Taijuan Walker
and
the great Colin Rea is going for the Cubbies. I did see this at Cubs minus like 160 with the 8.5 total in what's going to be a little bit of a cold and rainy day out at Wrigley Field.
I'm always betting these days on the Cubs, and I'll take Colin Diarrhea. I think that he is just fantastic with his 1.3 ERA. Give me the Cubbies. They win every game they play.
They certainly do. All right, let's throw one or two in here for tonight, then we'll finish them after the break. The Orioles will be in Detroit against the Tigers here. Brandon Young and Casey Mize will be the starters tonight. Tigers minus $120, even money for the O's, and an 8.5.
I mean, it's just automatically Larry Mize and the Tigers.
Got to be Larry Mize and the Tigers. When we come back, I'll give you the rest of the run, including the Mets are in D.C. against the Nationals tonight. Yankees have the Jays in town. And Skeens and Yamamoto tonight in Los Angeles?
You're lying.
Are you kidding me?
You're lying.
Tonight.
They're so close that we're barely going to be getting any value on the plus side of things. I think there's a little bit of value on the Blue Jays today, but it's an awesome division. Like, I don't want to see teams running away and be up by 12 games in first place. We want to see teams constantly battling for first place.
They hit a team total. I love that. So as many times as we get bad beats, you do get the same amount of good beats typically in your direction if you wait long enough.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
If you're going to trade Durant, right, it means things are getting weird anyway. Teams are going to, before they go for Durant, they're going to go for Devin Booker. That's just the reality of it.
You get rid of Durant, or do you do the crazy one? Because you're so far out of the West, you get rid of Booker because D-Book will bring you far more in a return.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
11 times now without a major, 14 times at the Masters. He finally has the green jacket. Rory McIlroy.
The best sporting event so far this year. It's better than the Super Bowl. It was better than the NCAA tournament. It had ups and downs. It had roller coaster rides. It had history, legacies. It had everything you could ever possibly want.
Ferrall, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Continuing to check out baseball and the long ball, and coming up, tater time, which is the most important part of every day.
It really is the most important part of every day. Why don't we start in D.C.? The Mets have won 7 in a row. They've been on fire as they head down to take on the Nationals. It'll be Senga tonight against Jake Irvin. Mets with the lumber on the road. They're minus $185, plus 155 for the Nats. And a 9.5 big total with the wind blowing out the left field tonight in D.C.
I got to stick to the Mets. There's no way I'm getting off that train until it happens on its own accord. Give me Senga.
And I'll give you a little tater time preview. This Irvin, who's pitching for the Nats tonight, he's already given up 6 homers in 29 innings this year. So I think there's going to be a Met on the card. When we get down to the taters here later. The Yankees are return home. They will have the Blue Jays in town this weekend. Jose Berrios and Carlos Carrasco. I mean, honestly, you can light the match now with those two. Carrasco minus 145 for the Yankees, plus $120 for the Jays, and a 9.5. You can't make it high enough with these guys.
Yeah, I like the Yankees and the over here. I think both of these guys give up a lot of runs. I think balls are going to be flying out here as well. You probably got some of them on the wall.
Well, you know that we're going to have something from the Yankee-Toronto game. That's for sure. They're going to be flying out this evening. The Red Sox head to Cleveland to see the Guardians. It'll be Tanner Houck. He's been awful, too, to start the year.
He's awful.
Ben Lively goes for Cleveland. The Red Sox are favored tonight, minus 115. Guardians minus 105 with an 8.5.
Give me Blake Lively and the Guards at Progressive in, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame land. Give me the Guards tonight over the Red Sox. I hate the Red Sox. I don't bet on them.
I know you do not. The Angels are in Minnesota tonight against the Twins. Kyle Hendricks and Pablo Lopez will be our pitchers. Minus 210 for Minnesota. It's not very often that you can get minus 210 for a team that's 9-16, but sure enough, you can do that tonight at Target Field. Angels are plus 175 and a 7.5.
I'll run line it with the Twins at plus $1.05, laying the 1.5 with Lopez over Jimi Hendrix.
We cannot get those chicken and waffle sandwiches in Houston tonight because they are in Kansas City this weekend against the Royals. That is a drag. Hayden Wisniewski against Seth Lugo this evening. Astros minus 115. Royals minus 105 now with a 7.5 total.
I think Lugo has a game tonight. He hasn't pitched well at all. Tonight he will. They just came off a doubleheader sweep of the Rockies. They're at home. They're feeling good about themselves. I like the Royals tonight with your boy Loogie.
The Brewers, after losing 3 out of 4 in San Francisco, they had one of the, and we always love when teams have these, the closed-door meeting after the game to talk about how awful we played. Well, now they'll try to go to St. Louis and change their fortunes. They'll have Chad Patrick going tonight. Who? Matthew Liberatore
Craig Patrick
goes for the boy Chad. Don't call me Craig Patrick. Minus 130 for the Redbirds, plus 110 for Milwaukee, and a 7.5.
I'm going Brewers here at the Cards. I'm going to take Craig Patrick and the Brew Crew after their meeting. They got a lot organized in that meeting. They got a lot of big plans. And I think the Cardinals stink.
Always play on a team after a big closed-door meeting with the manager. They always try to respond. Look at this. The sun's shining at Wrigley now. I just turned the game on. The sun's out at Wrigley as the Phillies and the Cubs take the field. Let's go. The Reds are in Colorado tonight against the Rockies. Andrew Abbott and Kyle Freeland. It's going to be cold in Colorado tonight. Reds minus 125, plus 105 for the Rockies, and a 9.5.
I still like Abbott and Costello and the Redlegs here at Coors. They stink. They're 4-20 for Christ's sakes. Give me Cincy, Ellie and company. Let's go.
Horrible. Great pitching matchup in Arizona tonight. Chris Sale and Zach Gallen of Milk. Minus 130 for the Braves, plus $110 for the Snakes, and an 8.5.
I'm going to go bake sale and an upset with the Bravos on the road, and they'll get back to 3 games under 500. I know that Arizona's better, but Gallon of Milk hasn't been good at all.
They're so close that we're barely going to be getting any value on the plus side of things. I think there's a little bit of value on the Blue Jays today, but it's an awesome division. Like, I don't want to see teams running away and be up by 12 games in first place. We want to see teams constantly battling for first place.
They hit a team total. I love that. So as many times as we get bad beats, you do get the same amount of good beats, typically in your direction, if you wait long enough.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
If you're going to trade Durant, right, it means things are getting weird anyway. Teams are going to, before they go for Durant, they're going to go for Devin Booker. That's just the reality of it.
You get rid of Durant, or do you do the crazy one? Because you're so far out of the West, do you get rid of Booker? Because D-Book will bring you far more in a return.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
11 times now without a major, 14 times at the Masters. He finally has the green jacket. Rory McIlroy.
The best sporting event so far this year. It's better than the Super Bowl. It was better than the NCAA tournament. It had ups and downs. It had roller coaster rides. It had history, legacies. It had everything you could ever possibly want.
Ferrall, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Scott Miller's one of our baseball insiders, the best in the business, and he does stuff with the New York Times as well, covering Major League Baseball. He's out in San Diego. God bless him. So, Scott, I want to start with this. Skeens tonight and Yamamoto at Dodger Stadium. It doesn't get any better than that, but I got to tell you, listen, I love Paul Skeens. I think he's incredible. All I do when I go to the church is light candles so his arm doesn't fall off with as hard as he throws it. I want him to be healthy. I think that, for my opinion, that he's doing too much Esquire, GQ, photo shoots, bobbleheads. They have him. They're pulling him at every, orifice. He can't even breathe. Like, is he just gonna pitch? Like, I want to see him pitch. All this other stuff, I think, is, for my money, why he's been average so far at the jump this year. And on top of that, people saying, oh, he's automatic. He's going to win the Cy Young. I think it's all caught up with him. And I don't think he's pitched well.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not up to expectations. Nice to be with you, Scott. I figured, man, that matchup tonight in Dodger Stadium, I figure you've already got like your pizza ordered and your popcorn set to be in front of the TV tonight, right? Skeens and Yamamoto. Wow. But I agree. There's something to be said for, establishing at least a little bit of a track record before you start branding yourself. And, certainly Skeens did that last year. He had a great year, Rookie of the Year, started for the National League in the All-Star game. But, he's still so young in his career, and there's still so much more developing he can do and should do that you don't want him to get caught up in all this other stuff. Now, that's kind of the push and the pull in Major League Baseball. Baseball, as soon as you get a young star, because of where baseball is in the pecking order, MLB, compared to the NFL, the NBA, everything else, everybody's fighting for entertainment dollars. So as soon as you get a young star, baseball wants to promote the heck out of him. But I do think sometimes it's like, hey, let's let him establish himself on the field for more than 10 minutes before you start worrying about all the branding, the personal branding.
So the Cubs have been kicking the Dodgers' ass this year, despite when they played in the Far East, they beat them, 4 straight times. Crow Armstrong going off. Cubs playing the Phillies today. The Cubs have had all these wild games at Wrigley Field that they've won. They've been very impressive to me. Are you shocked to see the way they pushed around the Dodgers? I was.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, the Cubs, watching that series this week, especially that first game against the Dodgers, where the Cubs are down by 3 runs going into the 9th, and they hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 9th, and then a solo homer to tie it, and they win it in extra innings. And then the next day, they win 7-6. And you're right, Pete Crow Armstrong is, he's living up to what people thought he was going to be right now. Again, now the next trick will be, can he continue to do it all season more than just for a week or two at a stretch? But, Pete Crow Armstrong, PCA has been awesome this week. I loved from the start the Kyle Tucker acquisition from Houston. That kid, he can play. I do think that was an upgrade over Cody Bellinger. Tucker hit the big home run in the first game against the Dodgers, and a 9th inning 2-run shot. Tucker, PCA, guys like Ian Happ and Nico Horner are coming into their own. And from what it looks like right now, there's something special going on with the Cubs. I mean, they're winning the way they're winning. Wrigley Field is exploding. I mean, the post game following those Dodger wins this week, Wrigley Field was loud, dare I say it, almost back to 2016 type proportions. So, Cubs might be the best. They're certainly the hottest team in baseball right now. They may be one of the 3 or 4 best, if not the best, as we speak right now.
So the Padres have a series with the Rays at Petco this weekend. They were on the road. They're back home. Michael, who would be king, is pitching. I think he's looked fantastic for them. Yep. And as far as I'm concerned, they're the most impressive team so far for me, the way they've gone out. And it was better earlier, but the road trip kind of punched them in the face. But they're 17-8, I think, or something like that along those lines. And they're back home again. And I think they can take advantage of this Rays team.
Yeah, they can. They've been playing really well at home. I mean, their home record's like 12-1 or something like that in Petco Park. But the other thing, you're right. They went 2-4 on the road trip to Houston and Detroit, but they're maintaining right now. And that's a big thing for the Padres because, they lost Jackson Merrill to a hamstring injury a couple weeks ago. They lost Luis Ariz early in the road trip to concussion protocol. They lost Jake Cronenworth a couple weeks ago to a fractured rib. He took a shot in the ribs, a pitch in the ribs against the Cubs 2 road trips ago. So, I mean, they're without 3 or 4 important pieces of their starting lineup. So other guys have been stepping up. Guys like Sheets, from Gavin Sheets, who they signed over the winter from the free agent from the Chicago White Sox. They've got some role players like him, Jose Iglesias, who most recently last year we saw with the Mets.
Right.
Got role player. Oh, Jason Hayward's out as well. He pulled a hammy. So they've got a number of guys on the injured list right now. So you kind of look at the Padres at the moment, you grade them on the curve a little bit and say, with all those guys out, the record they have and the way they've been going is still pretty good. And when they get everybody back, they're going to be in good position to take off again.
Do you think, Scott Miller with us, that the Mets are the best team in baseball? They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking. Soto's done, I guess, decent, nothing more. But they're kicking everyone's ass, and now they start a series in our nation's capital tonight. What do you think of the Mets? Are they the best team?
Yeah, they very well might be. I know I mentioned a minute ago the Cubs are one of the 2 or 3 best right now, and the Mets have it going. Everybody you just mentioned, and the thing that's kind of surprising to me, Scott, is the rotation. The Mets pitching has been really good, and it's not exactly. A couple years ago, remember they signed Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander. It ain't marquee names like that. I mean, Clay Holmes, the former Yankees closer, David Stearns, that's why Steve Cohen hired him. David Stearns sees things. He did it in Milwaukee as president of baseball operations, and he's in his 2nd year in New York. He's made some good moves. That rotation he's put together: Holmes, Tyler Miguel, Griffin Canning, David Peterson. Those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. They've got the makings of something very special in Queens, and I think it can last.
So lastly, respectfully, I got about 45 seconds. What do you think of what Judge and Goldschmidt are doing in the Bronx?
Yeah, I mean, Judge, it's amazing. If there wasn't that kid named Shohei Ohtani, Judge would be getting even more headlines. It's hard to imagine a guy in New York, in the Bronx, wearing Yankee pinstripes. When you say maybe he's not quite getting his due, but good.
He's doing more than Ohtani these days.
Absolutely right. He is. Ohtani's hit kind of a soft spot right now. He's not swinging that well. Goldschmidt, really happy to see him come back after a subpar year in St. Louis. Goldschmidt is a solid player, a solid person, and he deserved better than how he played in St. Louis. It's nice to see him doing what he's doing.
Scott, have a great weekend. Always good to have you on Coast to Coast, my friend. Enjoy the games this weekend.
Always great to be with you, Scott. Take care, my friend.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
They're so close that we're barely going to be getting any value on the plus side of things. I think there's a little bit of value on the Blue Jays today, but it's an awesome division. Like, I don't want to see teams running away and be up by 12 games in first place. We want to see teams constantly battling for first place.
They hit a team total. I love that. So as many times as we get bad beats, you do get the same amount of good beats, typically in your direction, if you wait long enough.
Pro Baseball today, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, there's a lot of baseball on the west side tonight, Carver High.
There is a lot of baseball on the west side tonight. In fact, we already talked about the Brave Diamondback game, but there are 6 games on the West Coast for the late night East Coast baseball fan. You have all of that working for you. All right, let's go to the next one, which will be in Seattle, where the Marlins, that is I think the longest trip you can make is that flight from Miami all the way to Seattle in the Pacific Northwest. That is what they will do. Your pal Cal Quantrill going against Logan Gilbert tonight. This is one of the heavy lumber games of the day. Mariners minus 320. Marlins plus 260 with a 7.5.
So the M's bounced back from a 3-game sweep in San Francisco to take 5 of 6 against the West in Houston and Texas. And then they went on a 9-game trip to Cincinnati, Toronto, and Boston. Went 6-3 there. I think they're playing great baseball, to be honest with you. I'm going to run line them tonight. There's no way I'm getting involved in minus 335. So I'm gonna run line them at minus $140. I think they're going to kick the Marlins' ass.
They probably will kick the Marlins' ass tonight. The Rays are in San Diego. Also a long trip. Shane Baz against Michael King tonight. Minus $150 for the Friars. Plus 125 for the Rays and a 7.5.
I like the under here for sure, and I'm going to stick with the Padres, 12-1 record at Petco with the soft serve ice cream. Give me the Friars at home in San Diego, so Cali.
The White Sox will head to Sacramento for the weekend to see the A's. Luis Severino goes for the A's tonight, and Sean, no, I'm not the hockey goalie, Burke,
yes, he
goes
is,
for the White Sox, minus 255 for the A's, plus 210 for the White Sox, and a 9.5.
I'll run line the A's tonight with Sevy, Ballesteros. Can I get some love tonight in Sacktown, West Sacramento?
Of course. Hopefully we are going to be able to get that. The Rangers are in San Francisco, as you mentioned. The Young Gun will see these two play this weekend as well. Nasty Nate Eovaldi and Justin Verlander tonight. Minus 115 for the Giants, minus 105 for the Rangers, and a 7.5.
I think both of these teams are really tough, but I like the Giants in particular. They're 17-9. They've been really impressive. I like them in Oracle. I like, you know what? I think Verlander and Eovaldi tonight, they're going to have some issues in this game. I think this is a bullpen game for me, and I'm going to take the Giants in a walk-off to beat the Rangers.
A walk-off. How about that? It's a walk-off. And finally, the Pirates open a series in Los Angeles against the Dodgers as they head over from Anaheim. Right now, minus 215 for Yamamoto against Paul Skeens, plus $180 for them. 6.5, the low total tonight. I did go and look. Skeens actually did face the Dodgers last year, Scotty. If you remember, I think that was at PNC, and he actually got kind of beat up. I went and looked. Ohtani homered off him. Teoscar Hernandez homered off him. So a couple of the Dodger guys fared pretty well against Skeens last year.
Well, I'll do the same thing again because he'll lose tonight out there at Dodger Stadium. Yamamoto will beat him. I'll run line it at plus 110 with the Dodgers. I'm expecting more of the same. He'll struggle at the Ravine.
Struggle at the Ravine. Yeah, I think that total's a little low, honestly. I know it looks great with Skeens and Yamamoto. You'll probably get some runs at some point. So I'm going to go over to 6.5 with those two this evening. All right, how about some taters for tonight? Tater time action on a Friday night. Fridays have been pretty good to us. We'll start in the Bronx, where I am going to go double dip here with this Yankee J game, because we've talked about the gas cans. Jose Berrios and Carlos Carrasco both give up a lot of home runs. I'm going to go Santander for the Blue Jays against Carrasco, which I actually just peeked a second ago, is now up to plus 400 at some places you can get that at.
4-1.
And how about a little Rice-A-Roni for the Yankees? Ben Rice at plus 475. So a little Rice-A-Roni and Santander in the Yankee Blue Jay game. Next, Julio Rodriguez against our pal Cal Quantrill. He has beaten this guy up. 6 for 11 with 2 home runs in his career. So we will go with J-Rod tonight in Seattle. Tanner Houck, he stinks too. Pitching in Cleveland tonight against the Guardians. Jose Ramirez, plus 420. Been very good for us on a Friday. Winds blowing out to left field in D.C. Irvin gives up tons of bombs. Sure, you want to play Alonso. I get it, but it's a very, very, very low price. I'm instead going to go to Vientos, who's finally started to hit a couple at plus 430. And a polar bear. And a polar bear probably go. And by the way, I didn't put Judge because, I never put Judge because he's like plus 180. Judge is 13 for 34 with 5 homers off of Jose Berrios in his career.
Well, so I'm doing that just for the sake of the $180.
You want $180 for Judge? You're probably going to get one off of Berrios. And my last one, my big ball of the night, I'm taking the kid Kurtz for the A's.
Young blue liner.
This kid, this guy Burke, who we always make fun of with the goalie for the White Sox, he stinks. We got him Kurtz facing a guy he could probably handle. Take a big power shot out to right field in Sacramento for his first Major League homer. Plus 550 for Kurtz, the blue liner. Tonight
blue liner. Let's go.
There you go. Santander, J-Rod, Jose Ramirez, Vientos, Rice-A-Roni, and Kurtz. Tater time on a Friday night here on Coast to Coast. All right, we will come back and we'll get into it. How about the hockey now? We still got the hockey. The Stanley Cup playoffs. Hockey. We'll go through the games from last night, and then, just like with the NBA, I'll give you the whole weekend run. 3 games tonight, 4 games on Saturday. We have a bunch of games on Sunday as well. A lot of the teams playing tonight are obviously just like the NBA. Going to run it back on Sunday, but we have numbers for you for all of these games. And I got to tell you, I know we'll talk about it when we come back. You worried about Vegas? Man, suddenly that Kaprizov on Minnesota's red hot. Gustafson's playing well in net. Vegas down 2-1 now in that series.
Playing well. And then the Devils are in big trouble, mister. They'd better wake up tonight at the Rock.
Devils are finished tonight. They got no shot.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Lost Pages. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
They're so close that we're barely going to be getting any value on the plus side of things. I think there's a little bit of value on the Blue Jays today, but it's an awesome division. Like, I don't want to see teams running away and be up by 12 games in first place. We want to see teams constantly battling for first place.
They hit a team total. I love that. So as many times as we get bad beats, you do get the same amount of good beats, typically in your direction, if you wait long enough.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple 18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We all know one thing is certain. Everybody loves hockey.
Everybody does love hockey. Let's quickly look at what happened last night in all the games. Commanding 3-0 lead for Toronto now as they needed overtime once again, but they do get it done against the Senators, this time in Ottawa. Simone Benoit on Sportsnet in Canada.
The Canadian Tire Center's rocking. Matthews wins the draw. Benoit scores! Simone Benoit! He set up the winner 2 nights ago, and he has the game winner in Game 3.
Dagger. that sent them to the parking lots. They need a shrink. It was rocking, and then it wasn't.
It actually, even after the goal, it sounded like there was a good amount of Toronto fans in the building.
There are a lot of Toronto fans there in Ontario making that quick jump.
And it's it's dagger for the Sens, down 3-0 now, obviously. The question is now, will they even get a game, which I'm not so sure of at this point either with the Leafs. They've played well, getting these overtime wins. The Panthers win both games in Tampa. They are up 2-0 going back to Sunrise. All they needed was an early goal in the first period by Nate Schmidt, his third of the series on TNT.
Barkov and Gensel. Barkov wins it back. Sam Reinhart across. Score! The Panthers strike first. Nate Schmidt scored twice in Game 1, and he fires this one past Vasilevsky.
The low riser off of the ice from the right point, and it went low left side, cross, the goal crease into the other corner, and, they had no chance. Vasilevsky never saw it. It was a great shot about 3 inches off the ice, and he just buried it, and that was it. They got the late empty netter. They're flat out better. They're the champs. They look like it.
Yeah, they looked real good, those 2 games in Tampa. And I think the Lightning are finished. I don't think they're going to win this series now. I think the only question is, do they have any heart, to get a game or 2 in Florida and make this a longer series? I don't think they'll beat them 4 out of 5. I don't think they'll beat that team 4 out of 5 games. But will they win any games at this point? Meanwhile, Vegas as I was saying to you before the break, they are now down 2-1 in the series to Minnesota because last night in St. Paul, once again, they could not stop Kirill Kaprizov and the Wild. Here it is, his first one. Got the night going on TNT.
William up top. Down low, Kaprizov. He'll take it to the far side. Kirill Kaprizov looks over the coverage. A shot. He scores! Kirill the Thrill picks up where he left off.
I mean, they've given up 10 goals in the last 2 games, and one of them was in Vegas. Now this one in St. Paul. Vegas, this would be the biggest upset, in my opinion, of the West or East. It's not an upset. None of these other games are even close to what's happening here. They are killing them. They're killing them. If they win this weekend on home ice, it's over. They're going to win the series.
I agree with you. If Minnesota gets this one game, they go up 3-1. As good as Vegas is, I just don't see it. I don't think that they'll be able to survive that. Man, they got a fight in them now. They got themselves a long series, and here
a lot of people picked Vegas to win the cup.
Not only win the cup, I mean, my whole thing, I remember saying to you last Friday when this all started was, look at this easy road they're going to have. Minnesota hasn't played well. They're going to get, Kings are going to take out Edmonton. Now they're in a dogfight, and you know why? Kaprizov looks like the guy. Remember in November, December, we were saying this guy is like an MVP candidate?
Right.
He looks like that guy again. He missed a couple months with injury, and now suddenly he's healthy, and he's playing really well, and so is the goalie, Gustafsson. He is too. And the Blues beat the Jets 7-2. That was a cover.
Jesus.
For you as well. It beat him up. Pavel Buchnevich, he had the hat trick for St. Louis. They are now down 2-1 in the series. They will play Game 4 Sunday afternoon and try to even the series.
And they're going to win again because, they stomped them in St. Louis. You beat someone by 5 goals, you're going to go do it again. It's the same thing that the Wild did to Vegas. They beat them 5, put another 5 on them when they beat them again. I like the Blues this weekend again, and I had them last night.
Fantasy baseball. Let's be honest, George. There's a lot of things antiquated about this game that we love. Man, I would love to try some new little wrinkles here. And so for Sam's question here on the show, I think it's at least fair to ask the question with catchers in fantasy baseball. And sometimes we're playing in 2 catcher leagues. Why at this stage of the game? I have no idea. If you're still doing it, you're behind in the times. Buy or sell, catchers should get a fantasy point for throwing out runners trying to steal. So essentially awarding a defensive play to get an offensive point in fantasy. You gonna buy or sell this?
So this never even crossed my mind. I hate the catcher position because they get hurt so much. You play in a 2-catcher league, I don't know what to tell you. It's like, what are we doing here? There are not 24, assuming a 12-team league, there are not 24 catchers to draft in baseball. There's just not. Although I'm the first person to tell you, Herrera's probably out there in a bunch of leagues there because we didn't see that power coming. Should he get a point? I think if you're going to do this, by the way, why a point? What are you throwing out? 1, 2 base runners a week? It's 2 points. Who cares? Should it be more? If we're going to do this, should we do it right? Should it be 5 points? So I would probably go that direction. If you're going to do it right. Give it more points. And by the way, then let's go further. You make an error, you're losing points. No one gets an error anymore. All right. If you get an error, it means you really screwed up. I was watching that Yankee-Pittsburgh game yesterday because I think it was who cares? Somebody hit the ball hard to Isaiah Felifa at shortstop. He didn't have to move, but he dropped it. They called it a hit because he hit the ball hard with 3-hopper. Oh, hard hit, error. So let's do that too. So yeah, I'm kind of on board with this, but you need more than one. It can't just be a point that's meaningless. You need more than one.
Fantasy Sports Today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Only on SportsGrid.